बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा, अल वाहिदुल कहार। अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा। तमाम साथियों को एक बार फिर या अली मदद। आज एक बार फिर हम अपने प्रीवियस वीक के सब्जेक्ट को कंटिन्यू करेंगे। अगर हमको याद हो तो हमारी बहन ने बहुत अच्छा एक क्वेश्चन पूछा था फ्री विल के बारे में कि किस तरह से दुनिया के अंदर अरवाएँ रूहें इंसान आ जाते हैं, और उस टॉपिक को लेकर पिछले वीक हमने कुछ मवाद को कवर किया था, but today we will continue on from the different side of it, inshallah, with your prayers and with your well wish. Ji.
Yali Madad. Let us start by Farman Mubarak from Maulana Hazri Imam. Please recite the Holy Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Maulana Hazri Imam on 23rd June 2018 at Paris made the following Farman. I would like to begin this Farman by underlining to you that entering into Baitul Khayal is not compulsory. Each murid decides on his or her own free will to enter into Baitul Khayal when you wish, when you are of the required age. So I presume that everyone who is here in front of me enters by their own will. I said that Baitul Khayal is not compulsory, and I assume that all of you who are here in front of me are here by your own free will. Is that correct? Yes? You are here because you wish to be here. Alright? Because it is not compulsory. In our practices, prayer is compulsory. What is not compulsory is what you commit to undertake from today. That is, to give to the practice of the faith more time, more reflection, more commitment than what is compulsory. When you come into Baitul Khayal, you enter through your own free will. It is not compulsory, but you enter because you want to enter into Baitul Khayal. Please recite the Holy Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.
As you see in this Farman, and the reason we brought this Farman up from Paris, June 23rd, this is a single Farman in which Mola repeats free will 4 times, will and wish twice, and want 1 time. This touches on the subject that we were on last week. This is a miracle that on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, after this class, someone had asked, do we have more proofs and more arguments or more material to see where all this is written? And I was thinking, Ya Maulaba, how nice would it be if there was one Farman of yours, hopefully recent Farman, that I can take and I can show that Imam never takes our free will, not in this world nor in the other world, because his habit does not change. He is merciful, and on the same day this Farman was read in Jamaat. And I was listening and I was saying, okay, one free will, Maulaba, thank you. And I heard second time. Then I heard third time. Then I heard fourth time. I said, Maulaba, thank you. You know? I mean, this is truly, if you ask him for something, he does grant you that wish. And this is one of the Farman that in my lifetime, I have never heard Maulaba repeating Free will, want, and wish. That's 7 times in one single paragraph. Because he wanted to make sure that Jamaat understand that it is their own free will of doing whatever they are doing, good or bad, coming to Baitul Qiyam or not coming to Baitul Qiyam, coming to Jamaatana or not coming to Jamaatana. This is their free will, and there is no pressure or force on human soul. They do what they will, and we will see further down how does this cover in Quran and other places, inshallah. Ji.
Understanding of free will. Imam, being the Nur of Allah, is making sure that the Ism-e Azam is given to individuals who have chosen to take it. If this is his habit and practice to not force anyone for anything, including ibadat, then how can it be possible that we came to this world without our free will? Let us review this notion from Kalam of Ilahi, the wise Quran. Proof, Quranic reference 30 by 30, known as Fitratullah, meaning the nature of Allah, which is unchanged habit of Allah. The argument is, if we have free will here, then how can we not have free will in His presence? He gives free will as per His habit, which is unchanged.
This ayat is literally called Fitratullah, the habit of Allah. This is the name of the ayat. Just like we have a name of surahs, some of the ayats are also named, and this ayat is named Fitratullah, the habit of Allah, in which Allah, and as we will read, says His habit, His fitrat, does not change. G.
30 by 30, you have it ready?
Yeah. So set thy purpose for religion as a man by nature upright, the nature of Allah, in which He has created man. There is no altering Allah's creation. That is the right religion, but most men know not.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah. G. And we will read each ayat after each reference, and then we will come back to it and we will discuss it, and we all will have a time to talk about it later on. G.
Proof, Quranic reference 2 by 35. And we said, O Adam, dwell, you and your wife, in paradise, and eat therefrom in abundance, from whatever you will. The argument would be, if Adam had free will to do whatever and eat from wherever, being at the higher level of heavens, then we, being the Ibn Adam, also have free will.
G. The ayat is 235.
And we said, O Adam, dwell you and your wife in paradise, and eat therefrom in abundance, from wherever you will, but do not approach this tree, lest you be among the wrongdoers.
Subhanallah. Thank you. Next proof.
Proof, Quranic reference 23 by 10 to 11. Those are the inheritors who will inherit Jannat al-Firdaus. They will abide therein. Second Quranic reference for this proof is 50 by 35. They will have whatever they wish therein, and with us is more. The argument for this proof is that Jannatul Firdaus, where everything will be possible. If everything is possible due to the inheritance, then how the choice of coming down to earth again would not be possible. This is the inheritance of Allah, and Allah is Qadire Mutallaq. He does what He wills, and that will of Allah is the inheritance of moments at higher ranks.
Subhanallah. So let's pull this to ayat 23, 10, 11, and then 50 by 35.
Those are the inheritors who will inherit Al-Firdaus. They will abide there eternally.
Subhanallah. 50 by 35.
जो मीरास में फिरदौस पाएंगे और इसमें हमेशा रहेंगे। हमने इंसान को मिट्टी के सत से बनाया, फिर इसे एक महफूज जगह टपकी हुई बूंद में तब्दील किया।
जी। और
50 by 35.
They will have whatever they wish therein, and with us is more.
Subhanallah. Repeat again, Khayal, loudly.
They will have whatever they wish therein, and with us is more.
Subhanallah.
उर्दू में कमरे से
वहाँ इनके लिए वो सब कुछ होगा जो वो चाहेंगे, और हमारे पास इससे ज्यादा भी बहुत कुछ इनके लिए है।
Subhanallah.
एक मतलब और जोर से
बोलें।
वहाँ इनके लिए वो सब कुछ होगा जो वो चाहेंगे, और हमारे पास इससे ज्यादा भी बहुत कुछ इनके लिए है।
सुभानअल्लाह, सुभानअल्लाह। जी।
Next proof. Proof, Quranic reference 41 by 11, the principle of willingly or unwillingly. Then he directed himself to the heavens while it was smoke and said to it, in brackets, intellect, and to the earth, in brackets, soul, come, willingly or by compulsion. They said, in brackets, Arif, soul, and his intellect, we have come willingly. Argument, if we can return back to him willingly, with his permission, then we can come back to earth willingly as well, with the permission of Allah.
So this ayat is literally called willingly or unwillingly. So someone mentions that there is the ayat willingly or unwillingly. This is the ayat they are talking about.
Proof, Quranic reference 31 by 20. Do you not see that Allah has made subject to you whatever is in the heavens and whatever is in the earth, and amply bestowed upon you His favors, apparent and unapparent? But of the people is he who disputes about Allah without knowledge or guidance, or an enlightening book. The argument for this proof is, if everything in the earth and the heavens is made for us by Allah, then how did He not grant us free will in the heavens, but only on the earth? And He fully, amply bestowed upon you His favors, apparent and unapparent. Fully meaning completely, totally. Without the free will, it cannot be fully or totally.
So I think the whole ayat is right there, so we don't need to worry about pulling it. 31:20. If you have it in Urdu, go ahead.
क्या तुम लोग नहीं देखते कि अल्लाह ने ज़मीन और आसमान की सारी चीज़ें तुम्हारे लिए मुसख्खर कर रखी हैं, और अपनी खुली और छुपी नेमतों तुम पर तमाम कर दी हैं। इस पर हाल ये है कि इंसानों में से कुछ लोग हैं जो अल्लाह के बारे में झगड़ते हैं, बगैर इसके कि इनके पास कोई इल्म हो या हिदायत या कोई रोशनी दिखाने वाली किताब।
Subhanallah.
Subhanallah.
Ayat Tazkir.
In the Arabic font.
Alam taraw anna Allaha sakhkhara lakum ma fis samawati wa ma fil ardh wa asbagha alaykum ni'amahu zahiratan wa batinah.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah. So the name of this ayat is Ayat Tazkir. Like I said, if you have paper and pen and pencil, we should write down the names of the ayat also, because in the future, as we go forward, we may not have a number 31:20. We may just talk about ayat Tazkir, and we will know what we are talking about. G.
Proof, Quranic reference 16 by 31. gardens of perpetual residence, which they will enter, beneath which rivers flow. They will have therein whatever they wish. Thus does Allah reward the righteous. Argument for this proof is, in these gardens of paradise, if they have whatever they wish, one can only have wishes when they have their free will, so they may wish. Proof 15/21. And there is not a thing but with us are in these stores all treasures thereof, and we send it not down save in appointed measures. Argument: if Allah has treasures of all things, and from His treasures He sends down the human souls, then how can He not have free will in His treasures? Is this to imply that His treasures are limited or incomplete by any means? Nauzubillah.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah.
So this verse is known as Ayah Khazain, the verse of treasure, Ayah Khazain. Kamran Sahib, you have it in Urdu?
कोई चीज़ ऐसी नहीं जिसके खजाने हमारे पास ना हो, और जिसको भी हम नाजिल करते हैं एक मुकर्रर मुक़दार में नाजिल करते हैं.
Subhanallah. Name, would you read in Arabic?
وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا عِندَنَا خَزَائِنُهُ وَمَا نُنَزِّلُهُ إِلَّا بِقَدْرٍ مَّعْلُومٍ.
Proof 55/39. Then on that day none will be asked about his sins among men or jinn. Quranic reference 16/111. On the day when every soul will come disputing for itself, and every soul will be fully compensated for what it did, and they will not be wronged. The argument for this proof is negating our learning and understanding that everyone will be questioned. Quranic reference 15/92 about their deeds. In these verses, Allah is saying there will be some or none who would not be asked about their sins, and they will be fully rewarded for what they have done, and none would be wrong. If they have fulfilled their promise, then Allah always keeps His promise, as it mentioned in 30/6. The promise of Allah, Allah does not fail His promise, but most of mankind do not know.
इस दिन किस इंसान और किस जिन से इसका गुनाह पूछने की ज़रूरत न होगी. फिर देख लिया जाएगा कि तुम दोनों गिरोह अपने रब के किन किन एहसानात का इनकार करते हो.
16/111. Naveen, if you have it in Urdu.
फिर जिन लोगों ने ईज़ाएं उठाने के बाद तर्क वतन किया, फिर जहाद किए और साबित कदम रहे, तुम्हारा परवरदिगार उनको बेशक उनके बाद बख्शने वाला, रहमत करने वाला है.
Subhanallah. So I want to read this proof again. Proof number 1, 55/39. And I need your attention over here. Then on that day, none will be asked about his sins among man or jinn. Keep that in mind, because we're going to have argument in a minute. But on the second ayat, it says on that day, which is 1611, on the day when every soul will come disputing for itself, and every soul will be fully compensated for what it did, and they will not be wronged. This is one of the main proof over here, and this will be the one that we're going to have a argument in a minute. So go ahead, and who's reading the argument?
Argument number 1. These two verses are negating our learning and understanding that everyone will be questioned 15/92 about their deeds. In these verses, Allah is saying there will be some or none who would not be asked about their sins, and they will be fully rewarded for what they have done, and none would be wronged. Argument number 2. If they have fulfilled their promise, then Allah always keeps His promise, as it's mentioned in 30/6. the promise of Allah. Allah does not fail his promise, but most of mankind do not know.
जी
Khayal, you want to read that?
Free will or without free will. One can easily argue that it is said, once left this body, there is no free will, and he or she is forced to live in the Jannah which is assigned. But this document argues in favor of free will, even after leaving this body with plenty of proofs. So which statement is true? We must understand that there are levels of paradise. With one count, there are 50,000 levels, and when a soul passes on to the next level, meaning from lower level to the next higher level, it is only on the first level of paradise and not on the higher ranks. Therefore, they are in jail or in limited confinement and are not yet free to do anything. From Imam Mubarak of Sultan Muhammad Shah sallallahu alayhi, may our souls be sacrificed to this Imam, have said, you wish for the Jannah. Even Jannah is like a jail. Dar es Salaam, September 29, 1899. Please recite the Holy Salat. Here it is important to understand that free will is based on the level of paradise one is in. If one is on the journey going towards the higher levels, meaning he is not yet one with Allah, then he has not earned free will, yet which was lost due to the heavy burden of sins, and one must become pure again to be one with Thee by reaching at highest level, i.e. Jannatul Firdaus.
Now, the question is, do we have free will or we are without free will? One can easily argue that it is said, once if you leave your body, there is no free will. And then he or she is forced to live in the Jannat which is assigned to him or her. But this document argues in favor of free will even after leaving this body with plenty of proofs. So now, which statement is true? We must understand that there are levels of paradise. With one count, there are 50,000 levels. And when a soul has passed on to the next level, meaning from bottom lower level to the next higher level, it is only on the first level of paradise and not on the higher ranks. Therefore, they are in jail or prison or in a limited confinement and not yet free to do anything. Farman Mubarak of Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our souls be sacrificed to this Imam. Please recite the Holy Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. He has said, you wished for the Jannat? Even Jannat is like a prison. Dar es Salaam, 29 September 1899. Here it is important to understand that free will is based on the level of paradise one is in. If one is on the journey going towards the higher level, meaning he is not yet one with Allah, then he has not earned free will, yet which was lost due to the heavy burden of sins. And one must become pure again to be one with Thee by reaching at highest level, that is Jannatul Firdaus. Can free will be surrendered? Then there are mu'mineen on the higher level on this earth who surrender their free will to Allah to gain His pleasure and to be close to Him, that is Arifeen. In Surah Baqarah, verse 131, Allah talks about His chosen one, Ibrahim. When his Lord said unto him, surrender, he said, I have surrendered to the Lord of the worlds. So those who surrender themselves to Allah and surrender their free will to Him, He grants them the higher ranks, Buzrugi. Then He sends them back to the earth again and again. 36/68 reads in Quran, He whom He gives long age, we reverse him in creation. In brackets, making him go back again. Do you not see? Here, first of all, Allah is talking about the exalted Imams whom are at the highest ranks and return to earth in a new manifestation one after the another, again and again and always. Then this ayat is for the Arifeen and friends of Allah. He gives to whomever He wishes the wisdom and khair kasir. Quranic reference 2 by 269. Khalil, you want to continue?
36 by 68 reads, He whom we give long age, we reverse him in creation, making him go back. Do you not see? Here, first of all, Allah is talking about the exalted Imams whom are at the highest ranks and return to earth in a new manifestation, one after the other, again and again and always. Then this ayat is for the earthly friends of Allah. He gives to whomever He wish the wisdom and khair-e-kasir, 2 by 269.
Okay, I just wanted to stop here. So whenever we are reading the Quranic reference, so in this case we will say Khair Kasir, Quranic reference, 2 by 269. So remember on the recording when they are listening, they may think you are saying 269 and never get that first 2 there. Because it's the same number, you have to say 2 by 269. In the uppercase, you can say that Quran refers 3668. And it's easy to read. But in this case, 2 by 269, because remember, there will be people who will be listening to this next week, next month. G.
Does Allah keep any power over our free will? Yes. Life, duration of life, and death are in the hands of Allah. We may wish death and or life, but to grant it or not is up to Him, as He is the Qadir Mutallaq. Do angels have free will? Here looks like the question is that, are there different ranks of human and the souls too? Human souls are 3 ranks. Human souls with free will, human souls without the free will, meaning the angels, human souls with free will surrendered, meaning the Arifin. Human souls with the free will can become angels or Arifin or can go downward and become animal. Choice and free will is ours. Shukran lillah walhamdulillah.
So how about we start with this last argument over here, and we will go forward and see all those arguments and all those proofs. And you notice that we have given positive proof and negative proofs. Meaning somewhere we are agreeing with our own arguments, and some places we are going against our own arguments. And we will see why is that. If we had said that everyone has their free will, here and there, then we came back and said, no, there are times that we lose our free will. And then there are times when Arifin or the Mu'mineen on the higher ranks surrender their own free will to Allah. So let's start with this one again. And you notice that we have a question and then we are fixing our own question. And the reason we do that, so we understand that sometimes what we ask is not really what we meant to ask. So, do angels have free will? Because that would be the obvious question. And we all know angels don't have their own free will. They are always in service of their Allah without any question. Without any question. So what we did, here it looks like the question is, are there different ranks of human and souls too? Because angel is one of the rank of human, and most people don't know that. So let's look at these 3 different levels of human. Number 1, human soul with the free will, which is us garib. We have our own free will, we do good or we do bad. That's us. Human soul without the free will, and that is the angels. So when a human become an angel, he surrender or he loses his free will by saying, Ya Mawla, I'm here to serve you, and you only, without any say so, without any of my free will. And he gets a higher rank where he only served Allah or the Imam of the time. Now, in further down in some other class you can ask, are there different kind of angels? That would be a good question to ask. Number 3, human soul with free will surrendered. Arifin. Human soul with a free will surrendered. Arifin. Who do we call Arifin? Arifin उसको बोलते हैं जो मारिफत की आला मकामत पर पहुंचा हुआ होता है. The one with the most highest understanding, meaning he is one with Allah. So he had a free will, but he surrendered his free will. The difference between angel and Arifin is, angel only does what Allah wants him to do. Meaning he waits for Allah to order and then he follows the order. Arifin, they are at the highest rank than angel. Listen to me carefully. Arifins are in the highest rank than angel. Arifin makes angel.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah.
Because they have the highest understanding of the law of Allah. Because he is one with Allah. Living in this world, a moment like Pir Sadruddin, Pir Nasir Khusro, and other mu'mineen throughout the history have reached that level where they are above the angels and above all of those ranks that we can imagine. They go much further and they become one with Imam, still living in this world, and then they surrender their own free will. Whatever they do, it may not seem right to us sometimes, or it may seem too good for us, or we may say, how can it be? Doesn't matter what they're doing, it is with the will of the Imam of the time. But it is us who not understanding what this person is doing. So sometimes we see Arifin doing things. One of the story of Pir Sadruddin, that one day he didn't show up for the morning Jamaatana or morning classes or morning lecture or wise in Jamaatana. So everybody started looking for him to see what happened to Pir Sahib. He was supposed to be here in the morning. And Pir Sahib were nowhere to be found. And they finally found him at one of the houses with one of the women. And they went over there and said, Pir Sahib, we need to go. What are you doing over there? Pir Sahib says, I cannot go because I owe this lady some money. And the lady will not let me go. They said, what do you need to do then? He said, why don't you go to Jamaatana? Did we not collect some money in Jamaatana today? They said, yeah. Bring that money and give to her so I can come with you. Or the some money. Mukhi Sahib, Kamar Sahib, or whoever had went there, they said, no, we cannot do that. What kind of pir are you? How can he ask us to give you the dasal money for something you'd have done bad? So they left. They left him there, and they said, we don't need a pir like that. Next Mukhi Sahib from next Jamaatana comes. And the next Mukhi Sahib from next Jamaatana comes. And finally, one of the Mukhi Kamra Sahib shows up and says, what's the matter? What's going on? And he repeats himself, says, I owe this lady some money. So if you give her some money so I can go with you guys. And they say, how do we do that? They go to Jamaatana, bring me the dasal money and give to her. They say, Labek. They go to Jamaatana, they bring the dasal money and give to the lady and take the Pir Sahib with them. And in Gnan it ends like this. So there were the only Mukhi Kamriya and the Jamaat, they received the salvation. All the other Jamaat failed. The point was, the Arifin does things that we do not understand sometimes. It does not mean they are wrong. It is us, the lack of knowledge within us, that we don't understand. That we don't understand. But in the Gnan it says it was that last Mugi Kamriya in the Jamaat who received this salvation. Due to their action. So what they did? They cared about the Peer and his hukam. Remember Peer Puchine Chalwano? You're supposed to do what Peer is telling you to do. Don't use your own intellect in front of the Arifin. Because the Arifin are with the Marifat, with the highest, most highest understanding. So that is one of the examples. Inshallah, in future, we will use the example of other Arifins and see how people mistake them or misunderstand them because they are not understanding what kind of imtihan or the exam is on them. So this was one of the argument here. And inshallah in a few minutes we will open the floor for questioning. Does Allah keep any power over our free will? Like it says, yeah, there are three situations in which Allah does not give us free will. And that is the life, and one can argue, did you not say last week that we have come over here with our own free will? Yes, with His permission. Meaning, we have our free will, but He has the power over it. And He can say yes or no. And that was your question earlier. The duration of life, how long we going to stay here, and the death are in the hands of Allah. So you may still wish to die before death, or you may wish to become alive. Now this life over here is of the two kinds. One, truly becoming alive in this world through ibadat bandagi. You can actually become alive. So the life that we are living today, it will looks like and sound like death. Because that is the actual life with the Imam. Not this life. So we can wish that, but Allah is the one who can grant it and say yes, and with His permission we can die or we can live. We can wish. Wish is still ours, but it is Him who can give permission or not to give permission. Can free will be surrendered? Yes. And we have talked about this already. It is for the Arifin or the higher level of Mu'mineen. When a Mu'min starts to walk on a Sirat al-Mustaqim, he becomes Salik. And then he starts to do his ibadat with the Ismi Azam granted by the Imam. He becomes Abid. And when he successfully finishes that Ismi Azam and receives the Nur, again, the question you can write it down, not the first Nur that he will receive. We are talking about the highest level of the Nur and the understanding. When he becomes one with the Imam, at that place, he surrenders his free will to Allah. Meaning, everything else he does after that, he does with the tongue and the action of Allah. So there is a mashhur, very famous Hadith Qudsi, O Bani Adam, O children of Adam, follow me in true sense, and I will become your ears, your eyes, your tongue, your hands, and your feet, so you may walk. So we are talking about that level of Arifin, who have become one with Him. And in Surah Baqarah, ayat number 131, it talks about Ibrahim. He was the one, in the Quran says, I surrender my free will to you, my Lord. And that was the proof that we were using from the Quran. And that is the true sense of Arifin who would do that. This is the one I was talking about earlier, that we are sometimes arguing for free will and sometimes we are arguing without the free will. Both in one single paragraph. So when do we have free will and when we don't have free will? When we came to this world, we had a free will to say yes or no. Matter of fact, we were the one who volunteered ourselves to come over here with our own free will. And with the permission of Allah, we came. And we still have a free will. But if we don't use that free will to go back to Him, and we do things that we were not supposed to do, the burden on our soul due to the sin that we commit over here, it pushes the free will down and almost suppresses so much that we lose our free will. But remember, that is temporary. So how long do we lose this free will for? It depends on how much sin we have committed. How far down have we gone? Or at what level are we in? If we have just moved, and if we, I don't know, was this class or some other class, we were looking at a clock. And if we are at number 6 level on the clock, which is the most bottom number 6, and we were moving up to the number 12, and number 12 being one with the Imam, depends on what number are we in. If we have not even budged from number 6, then it will take a long time, and with one count, almost 50,000 years to receive our free will back. Because at that point, you have given the Jannat, but this Jannat is imposed on you. You are in there like you are in a jail. So when a person is in jail, even though he is free to do things, meaning he can walk around in his cell, but he's not free to go outside. He's not free to eat whenever he wants. He's given food when time comes. So free will is taken from them. That's what Imam Sultan Mahmud says. So if you wish to go to Jannat, even Jannat is a jail. There is only one reason that in Ismaili Tariqah, you will never hear or talk about the Jannat and Dozak. What talk do we have? We are here, we wanted to be one with the Imam. We are on number 6, we want to be on number 12. We don't talk about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But it is our choice. If we wanted to be from 6 to 5, then so be it. That is our free will if we want to go there. But as soon as you get to number 5, you lose your free will. Because there is a Jannat where there is no free will. You are in that Jannat without the free will because you are put there as a punishment for the sin that you have committed. But it's not permanent, remember. It's just temporary. Once you repent, once you realize what you have done wrong, you move on until you get all the way back to number 12, because eventually everyone who have come down must go back to Him. Willingly or unwillingly, we all have to get back to number 12. So let's come to this one over here. If you remember in our previous lecture that we have talked about, that those people who have come over here with their own free will, but not with the full guidance of the Imam of the time, and we have said they will not be asked any question. And I know it was surprising to us because we always heard that til til na lekha lese ji. We all have to be answerable to something. But here is Quranic ayat. In Surah Rahman, it says, you will not be asked of anything. Meaning there are different kind of people. Some, they will be asked of every single thing. And when Pir Sahib said, you will be taken the Hisab Kitab of every single second, yes, for us, we have to answer. Because we will have no excuse. We have the guidance, we have the knowledge, we have the Imam, we have the Ismi Azam, we have the Jamaatana. What else do we want? We have no excuse. So we will be asked and we would have to answer. But others who has nothing to guide them back, how unfair God would be if He said, how come you didn't follow my Imam? Imam? I had never even heard of Imam in my entire life. So the answers are on the rank. The higher you go. So if we take the example of our Jamaat, so maybe some in our Jamaat may not be answerable that much, but you definitely. Because now with this knowledge, you have no excuse. And if Imam comes and asks, Aziz Bhai, did you not tell them? I say, I will. I remember it was Faraz Shadi and we had class at Bhagat Uncle's home and I told them that. And you will have no excuse. As we go higher in rank, so I wanted to give you a little bit leeway here so we are not that scared. Actually, most of us may not even be answerable to you. Most of us. Because Allah brings all of us with a one single soul, and that one soul is answerable to Allah. So as we go higher and higher, if you are answerable to Allah, meaning you are that one single soul, and answerable for the entire Jamaat. But until then, you are okay. You may have to answer a little bit here and there, but you always can say, Ya Mola, he did not teach us good. He was not a good teacher. You just blame it on me. And then he will ask me. And I will say the same thing. I'm learning from you guys. All these excuses. Right? Ya Mola, my teacher, he tried. Honestly, he tried. But I did not learn. Right? So, some people will have to answer and some will not have to answer, depending on what stage you are at. And I would say the people who will answer, they will answer happily. They will answer happily. Just think of it, that you are going to Mola and you are that one single soul. Okay? You are the one single soul and you are going there to Mola. Mola says, did I not give you all the knowledge and everything that you had? You had all the resources. Why didn't you not do this and this and this for yourself and for your family, for your children, for your brother and sister, for your Jamaat? Why didn't you do it? And you can say, Mola, whatever ability I had, I did it to full of my ability, full of my power, whatever I had, whatever resources I had available, I did. And because He is merciful, He will see your niyat was good and you will be okay. Remember, in our religion, you don't need to be afraid of anything. There's no fear. Allah is not going to put us in hell. He's not going to burn us. He's not going to punish us. He is most merciful. Just believe that. He is most merciful. Only thing we have to do is we have to have a good niyat and we do our best. And that's all Imam is asking us to do. Just to do our best. Nothing more, nothing less. And all the other proofs and arguments, I think they are pretty much clear. In Quran, again and again, has told us that we have our free will to do good or the bad. And Allah has given everything to us. Everything that we could ask and everything we did not even know to ask. He has given us everything, possibly that we can use in our favor to go back to Him as quickly as possible and become one with the Imam as quickly as possible. I mean, we are those fortunate few that have received the Ismi Azam from the Imam, and with all the du'ashish, and the time that we are living in, the time of Qiyamah that we are living in, it is much easier today than it ever was before. A lot of people think, if you ask Jewish, what was the best time in the world, they will say when Moses was alive. If you ask a Christian, you say when Isa was alive. And if you ask a Muslim, they would say when Muhammad was alive. For Ismaili, it's all good times because we are always with the Imam Zaman. And especially today, in this Diamond Jubilee, look at how Imam has given us Ismi Azam. And how much du'ashish he has given us. I think this is the best time. We are those lucky and fortunate mu'mineen, and I'm sure we are not just here coincidentally. We must have done something, or our parents must have done something, and with their dua and with their asking, we are here today with this Imam at this time, where he has given all that he had never done it before for other times and other ages. The willingly and unwillingly, we all have to go back to him. I think this is one of the most beautiful kulliyah, the principle in Quran. There is a hadith, I don't know what is the reference of that. It says Allah looks at the people and says that go ahead and use your free will. Do whatever you want. But when you get tired, come to me and surrender your free will, then I will take you to where I want to take you. And there is a beautiful ayat in Bible. It's Jeremiah 29:11. It says, Allah has planned for you. He does not want to harm you. Allah says, you do whatever you want. But then, when you're tired, come to me and I will take you to the right place. I will guide you. So if you can pull that Jeremiah 29:11, it's a beautiful ayat in Bible.
For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future.
SubhanAllah. He said, He has a plan for us. But what do we have to do? Surrender ourselves to Him. Because when we use our free will, sometimes we may not be following His plans. And He would not say anything. Because that is your free will. But as soon we surrender ourselves to Him, then He has a plan for us. He wants to prosper us, not to harm us. Gee.
So, we are so blessed in this time that we have surrendered our free will in a way by taking Ismi Azam, going to Imam's huzur and saying that we surrender, we submit ourselves to you, Imam, and in return Imam gives us Ismi Azam. Our forefather used to call Ismi Azam Bada Kaam, the great deed, great work, Bada Kaam. In some Persian cultures, they would call it Kar-e-Buzrug, the work which is Buzrug, elevated. So the submitting our free will and taking Ismi Azam from him is such a huge blessings for us and a good deed for us, for our soul we have done, that today we are here gathered to understand this Ism, the power of the free will, and know how to elevate our ranks. Because when we take this Ism, we don't realize that we are actually saying that your command is my will. Your farman is my will. I will sacrifice my sleep, my time, and I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do ibadat. And it is the barakat of that Ism Azam, that word, that in our heart we now are curious to know more about our religion. It's all due to that one submission of free will. So it is so important to understand the power of free will and the submission of it. We all have heard that humans can become angel, humans can become animal, but how to become? So one way of thinking is, oh my sins, burdens of waking up or coming to classes, or to think it in a way that we have submitted our free will. This is Imam's blessing. The more I do, the more I elevate my ranks. It is his will to prosper us. But when we don't understand that, then what we do? We use our intellect, the akle garizi, the intellect which is needy, and we do not follow the farman of the akle kul, because he, being the akle kul, is telling us submit your free will. And this submission is also in levels. It's all about ranking. Today we submitted by taking Isme Azam, waking up for ibadat. Tomorrow, this class, I would say that after that we all have agreed to come and attend these classes, do our homework, learn. So level by level we are submitting our free will. We are using our time and our breath in his farman bardari to get to where he wants us to be, where we one with him. So I would like to request Barkat Sahib to end this session with this Ginan, Aati Adhina. Aati Adhina Thaine Vinati Surine Chintade Joyasha Tuja Bhave Sohi Such a beautiful way, right? Peer is saying that I'm worried about my sins, but you know what? I submit my free will to you, and this is my Venti, this is my Giryazari to you, that make me say things, make me do things what you want me to do. I want to walk with your will, not my free will. So it's a huge thing to be human. The reason we are Ashraful Makhlukat, the best creation of Allah, because of our free will. That's the reason actually. Free will. Because we with our intellect can use our free will to whatever way we want. But with this understanding of this power, we submit this most valuable, precious power to Imam and we say, let us do what you will. So you would not blame me tomorrow. Because I don't want blame. We are scared, we are weak, we are feeble. So we want Maula Papa to guide us. Hold my hand, take me. Because I can't. When we say I know and I can, he says, okay, why don't you go do what you want to do? So that's where the test is. When we think of ourselves knowledgeable, capable, smart, intelligent, then he says, okay, go ahead and do. Then if we do that, all the blame is ours. But when we say Mawla, we submit our free will. That's beautiful hadith. O Bani Adam, follow me. If you do, then I will become your eyes. So what we see, what he sees, we see. What he hears, we hear. How can that be? What Allah hears, will hear. Imagine the power. What He says, it will come out of our tongue. So it's like that one soul we came from, Surah Nisa 4:1. We in this life, living this in this world, become one with that soul. Then that Kamil, Arif, is no more of this worldly person. He's elevated. What he says, what he does, what he sees, it's all being with the Imam of the time.
If there is ayat like that, he says, "Oh Muhammad, he does not do anything at his own will. He does not say anything at his own free will." Ji.
Question hai? So the question, okay. What is your question, Shaf?
I have the same question that I had before.
Ji.
So going back to the same question, so the subcategory of that question, so on the level of spirituality we were before coming to earth, whatever that process was. So even at that time, could it be possible we were at a certain level to select that free will, whatever, like to make the decision to come in this form? Was it the level that decided, or was it just arbitrary thing that
Okay, very good question. So
combine Ali Sahib's question too. So Ali Sahib is saying that we need to explain more the kulya of willingly or unwillingly.
This what I need to just read it one more time.
Okay. Yeah. So while he's reading, we can go and take your question. So our question is that is it at different levels that we choose to come or not to come, right?
Like, did we have a certain level at that time to make the decision?
So for example, if there was a choice to be born as a king or princess, or there was a choice to become a poor person, why would I choose to become poor or disabled and not prince? So my life would be easy in this world. That's what she's trying to ask.
Exactly.
So there are two questions then. So think of a clock again. Between the 6 and the 12, 12 being one with the Imam. To make it easier, at the Alam Arwa, the universe of the soul, that is the treasure with Allah, the universe of the soul. And I'm going to go a little bit on the other side. You know how a lot of people think of the reincarnation? In Islam and Ismaili Tariqah, there is no reincarnation. If that is the case, meaning we are all going in a circle from 6 all the way to 12, and when we come down, we do come in the same circle from the other side, meaning from 12 down to 6. Between the 6 and the 12, you could go from 6 to 12 directly, like Arifin. You may work hard and go from 6 to 3 or 4 or 5, depending on where you are. While you are in this quarter circle between the 6 and the 3, you are like in Jannat but in a jail. You have no free will. If you don't have a free will, you could not be saying, I want to go back. And there is ayat for that. That when they are in that Jannat or hell for them, it may be Jannat, but it may be hell for them compared to the next level, they would say, Ya Allah, could you send me back again, please? And Allah will say, no, I will not send you back. He will not grant them their wish. And Allah will say, if I send you back, you will do exactly what you had done before. You will go there and you will forget and you will do the same sin again. So He will not grant them the free will. He will not. So when will we receive our free will? When we get to that number 3 level, and if you draw a line between 9 and the 3, straight line, a linear line, then on the top of the 3, that is the time that you start to receive the didar. And if you are under the line of the 3, all the way to the 6, you are in a jail. There is no didar. But as you progress, nil by nil, and get to the top of that number 3, you start to see the sunlight, the light of the nur. And from there, you are just starting to progress toward the one with the Imam. And when you do go all the way to number 12, you are back to the hakikat at the level of the universe of the soul. At that time, you can say, I am at the level where I had started. Meaning, you are granted the free will again. And at that point, you can say, if you want, when Allah asks, who wants to go down? And you can say, I wanted to go down. At that level, you can say that. Or you can say, I just got here, I want to relax a little bit. It was a long journey. I don't want to go back yet. That is your free will, you can say that. Now, why would someone pick to be a king or a rich person or a smiley compared to non-smiley, Muslim compared to non-Muslim, a good healthy man compared to a handicap? So, I haven't watched too many Indian movies lately, but if I think of the old movies, where there are mother and the father, they are always like crying and always in a pain and whatever. Can you name some of the movie that I can give example of? Somebody, whoever watches the movie.
Like it's painful, that's it.
Very, very painful movies.
Miserable.
But they are high ranked. Okay, I remember one. Will Smith in Pursuit of Happiness. See, we all know that one. Now think of Will Smith. He does a lot of good roles, happy role, comedian role, high-ranking movies. But in this particular movie, he played a role of a father, very unhappy with a small child. But it was just a movie. It was just a movie. And when the movie was finished, or every day he would go home, he'd be okay. It was just the play that he was playing, whatever role he had taken upon himself. The role that we take upon ourselves, it really doesn't matter if the role of James Bond or their father in Pursuit of Happiness. It's just a role. It's only for 4 days. To us, looking from this side, sometimes we think, oh, this person is very happy because he's rich or he's whatever. But from the other side, if you look at it, it's just a 4 days thing. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But when Allah gives you the chance to be a smiley and to be with the Imam or with the knowledge of Imam, what are you saying? I am the responsible for success of this movie. I'm the responsible for the whole Jamaat, for whole family. So you are taking actually more responsibility on this side compared to the other side. And what did Allah says in Surah Rahman? Remember? They will not be asked of anything.
Then on that day none will be asked about his sins among men or jinn.
Would you not rather be there? So who's the lucky one here? Them or us? I would say we are all on the equal ground because we all chose whatever we chose. Because we thought, okay, I wanted to serve the Imam of the time. Or you said, I want to just be an example for those people who's going to be Ismailis. So all the humankinds, they are here for us as an example. But if we look at them and we never say, thank you, Malabba, for making me an Ismaili, for granting my wish to become Ismaili and being close to you. If we never say that part, when we look at other people, then we are not better. Matter of fact, we are worse. So think about it. Just think in your own heart. How many times have you gone out and seen a non-smiley and said, thank you, Malapa, for making me a smiley? How many times have you seen a handicapped and say, Malapa, thank you for giving me health? Or when you see a homeless on the corner of the street, say, thank you, Malapa, for giving me the shelter and a home. So every corner, every person we see is an example for us to learn from. If we don't do that, then we have the chance to earn those extra points to be close to the Imam, but we are not mindful of it, and we do need to be mindful of it. But this is our chance to be there. Or how many times, this is the last one I'm going to say, then if you want to add, when we see a homeless person, how many times we have prayed for him? Say, Ya Mawla Baba, can you help him out? Because it doesn't matter how much money I give him, he's still going to be right there in the corner of the street without a home. Can you help him out? Do a sifarish. Ask for his mercy. And the mercy will come back to you, will return to you. Ji.
So let me take you to Jannatul Firdaus. Let's close our eyes and be in Jannatul Firdaus, where Imam is sitting in front of us and we see all his manifestations in front of us. We know all his secrets, all his tajalliyat, everything is known and visible to us. And we are sitting there in so much ishq, so much happiness. And then Mawla says, okay, I am going down. Who wants to come with me? None of us will say, we are not coming. We want to be with you. Mawla, we want to be with you. Regardless if I'm poor, if I'm homeless, in whatever condition, Mawla, if I'm with you, I want to be with you. If you are going down, I'm coming with you. So when we think of our life without the true knowledge, we only see tests, we only see burdens, we only see difficulties. But as soon as we enter into true knowledge, we recognize the blessings, the happiness, the choice we made to come to this world because our beloved is in this world. And I've been blessed with very many teachers. My beloved teacher used to say, whenever we feel like that, because we all are human, we feel that way. Why? Why these tests in my life? Why life is so difficult? Why didn't I get it easy? Couldn't he give me just, why didn't he make it easy for me? You know what he would say? He would say, you are my spiritual empress. What are you talking about? You are my spiritual emperor. And you know what emperor or empress means? The one who nominates or selects kings. If I am the spiritual empress of my Imam, I am the one who can make a king. Do I want to be king? Oh no, I'm above the king. So do we know our own worth? That's why Maula Ali said that you think of yourself as a particle, the whole universe is within you. It's just with true knowledge we understand our worth, our power and abilities. So today if you were to ask me, I would say, oh, I am not this person you see with this, life and this house and this whatever, tests or blessings, whatever. I am the spiritual, the Nurani Shahanshahzadi of my Imam Zaman. So if you think like that, then everything is easy.
So you wanted to be princess? That's what you're saying.
Oh no, I'm above princess. I'm Shahanshahzadi. Princess is below that. So no, I'm not saying I want to be Shahzadi. I want to be Shahanshahzadi. And that is our status, each one of us here. So why would we even, ask that question? We are the ones who were sitting in Jannatul Firdaus. We had the total and full free will, total power. If he is Qadir Mutallaq, meaning to having total control, and if we were all in Jannatul Firdaus, we were one with him, meaning we were Qadir Mutallaq, and we chose. I'll be Ashraf, I'll be Khalil, I'll be Khayal, I'll be NIAMAT. We chose that and we came down. So who are we? Say it. Nurani Shahanshahzadi. So whenever we have that moment of sadness, of feeling like what is my worth, say it to yourself. You could say, repeat keep saying it. I am the Nurani Shahnshahzada. I am the Nurani Shahnshahzadi. Think of that word and then you feel that blessings coming to you.
As your father is the king of the entire world. Why
Tera,
not?
there's a beautiful verse.
Tera Baba
Tera Baba Noor-e Azam, usse tu ek noor hai. If my father is the highest noor, usse tu ek noor hai. I am not a small being. I am Shahnshahzadi. Subhanallah. Thank you. Tera Baba Noor-e Azam, usse tu ek noor hai.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Any other question?
वो मुझे नहीं समझ में आ रही है, विलिंगली और अनविलिंगली. एक तो वो है. सेकंड मुझे ये पूछना था कि लेवल्स में हमने बात करी कि इंसान है, फ्री विल है, फिर फरिश्ता है, फ्री विल नहीं है, उसके बाद आरिफीन है. तो यहाँ पे ये अलाइनमेंट नजर आ रहा है कि मैन और जिन. सो वेयर इज एक्चुअली जिन? व्हाई वी आर नॉट डिस्कसिंग द फोर्थ डायमेंशन ऑफ द सेम थिंग?
Okay.
ये फोर्थ डायमेंशन है, वो कौन सा डायमेंशन है? क्योंकि अगर इनको मेंशन किया गया तो थोड़ा एलैबोरेट करना चाहिए.
तो जिस तरह से कहा गया कि एंजल्स के बहुत सारे रैंक है एंड वी शुड राइट डाउन द क्वेश्चन हाउ मेनी डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ एंजल्स देयर आर. तो उसके अंदर हम इसको भी कवर करेंगे. रिमेंबर एंजल्स आर आल्सो वन ऑफ द रैंक ऑफ ह्यूमन. अगर एंजल्स आर वन ऑफ द रैंक ऑफ ह्यूमन देन जिन वुड बी one of the rank of human, right? But it will cover under the angel subject, not under the human subject. कि human subject से जब हम cover करेंगे तो वो सबको एक कैटेगरी में हमने डाल दिया एंजल के अंदर, ठीक है. लेकिन जब हम ह्यूमन उसको करेंगे एंजल्स को तो वहाँ देखेंगे कि क्या एंजल्स सब के सब अच्छे होते हैं या उसमें कुछ बुरे भी होते हैं. आपको यह शक होगा कि एंजल भी बुरे हो सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, खाली एग्जाम्पल है अभी, लेकिन दिस नॉट आवर सब्जेक्ट, कि जिस तरह से एक अगर जिब्राइल है या मिकाइल है कि जो हमारे लिए रोज़ी लाता है, जो हमको अकल देता है, लेकिन उसके सामने ही हम देखते हैं कि मौत का फरिश्ता भी है, राइट. तो इसी तरह से हम देखेंगे व्हेन वी डू द पार्ट ऑफ एंजल्स वी विल कवर द जिन आल्सो इन इट. और आपको जिन की जितने भी एट्रीब्यूशन है ना वो आप देखेंगे कुरान के अंदर सूरह रहमान के अंदर एंड यू विल सी दे आर एग्जैक्टली सेम ऑफ ह्यूमन, एग्जैक्टली सेम एज ह्यूमन. गॉड कीप सेइंग ओ यू ह्यूमन एंड जिन, कौन कौन सी नेमतों को जुटलाओगे? मीनिंग दे आर सेम नेमत फॉर इंसान एंड द जिन. So jinn is not too far from insan. They are in the same category. Just our understanding. The word jinn itself meaning unseen. Human, unseen. तो हम कौन से ह्यूमन है? जो सीन है. वो कौन से ह्यूमन है? जो अनसीन है. तो इंशाल्लाह हम इसको दोनों को कवर करेंगे. Good question.
But willingly or unwillingly, जो 50,000 का जो ना, I think we need to clarify more. Is there any other question? You want to share it here now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, just because you said angels are a type of human, right, or like it's sort of linked, but in memoirs of Aga Khan, Imam Sultan writes, every individual, every molecule, every atom has its own spiritual relationship with the all-powerful soul of God. But men and women, being more highly developed, are immensely more advanced than the infinite number of other beings known to us. Islam acknowledges the existence of angels, of great souls who have developed themselves to the highest possible planes of the human soul and higher, and who are centers of the forces which are scattered throughout the universe. So sometimes we miss it, but he says that they develop themselves to the highest possible planes of the human soul. So that means they have to start, or they're in the category of human soul, and develop to the highest planes of the human soul, and then higher.
Yeah. So to add to that, if somebody is writing it down, सूरह फातिर 35 नंबर की सूरह है, उसके आप 1, 2, 3, 4 आयतें पढ़ लें कि खुदा किस तरह से फरिश्ते बनाता है.
Subhanallah. That will be part of that class, inshallah.
Yeah. So remember कि हर सवाल, anything we can think of and all the things we don't even think of, answer are there already. हमारे दिमाग में सवाल आ ही नहीं सकता है unless that there is answer present first. I mean, you see that you just pull that out of the memoirs, and this Surah Fatir there, and all these ayahs, even the Farman, right?
मुझे 41:11 ये जो willingly unwillingly
हाँ 41.
Well, just a couple of thoughts, but it seems free will, at least at this level, when we have Iman, seems to be something which is not surrendered once. Obviously, we say it's repeated. It's like you surrender it
In the stages.
and the next moment you get it back and you do it, again and again and again. I was thinking of a really interesting, just an example. When we have children, there's a ceremony where you give your children to the Imam, or what he says, I give them back to you.
Yes.
So it's like you're surrendering your free will, and it says, I give it back to you, provided that you'll raise them as my own. Meaning that I surrender my free will, my intellect to you. No, you keep the intellect, but raise it like my own intellect, meaning how I would raise my intellect, right?
Yes.
That interesting example. But also, if you want to relate this to a daily concept, in dua, right, we say, Sajada wajhi ilayka. So I prostrate my face before you. So obviously it cannot just be in zahir, my physical face. Sajada wajhi ilayka. And the next line, the word tawakkul means to rely upon God. If you're relying upon God, it means you've surrendered your free will, right? So first, sajada wajhi ilayka wa tawakkaltu alayka. And if you do that, minka quwwati. So once you surrendered, your true quwwat will come from sajada wajhi ilayka wa tawakkaltu alayka. Minka quwwati. And now you're my protection. You'll be completely protected from any errors, sin, any mistakes, because why? You surrendered your free will to Imam's command, right?
Yeah.
So when we say these two lines, and then Sajda wajhi ilayka wa tawakkaltu alayka minka quwwati wa antasmati ya Rabbal Alamin should be like powerful at that point. Yeah, Rabbal Alamin is like the ending of that prayer.
Subhanallah, beautiful.
And that's our actually the 7th hidden sajda, right?
It's a hidden sajda.
Yeah, hidden sajda in
Yeah.
dua.
Yeah, sajda. So Shahnaz, remember that Ginan? Share me the link again. This Ginan we talked about. I'm going to share with everybody because that's something. If you read it superficially, it shakes you. How can that be? What you heard today about Pir? How can that be? And the story is in the detail actually in that Ginan. So I'll share the link with everybody. Read that and then understand that when you walk in His will, then everything, there's no sins. And how can they be? So it's an amazing Ginan to read by Pir Sadaruddin. And he's talking about him. 3 Jamaats. It's a beautiful Ginan. So Shahnaz found it for us. I had read it long time ago and we were not able to find it. And this time she found it and I'm like so grateful to her. So we'll share the link with everybody. So if you have no question, then we'll end it here today. All right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this month we will request everybody to come on time if we can, please. We want to start as soon as possible, 6:10.